Resurrection Man number 8, written by Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning, art by Fernando Dagnino. We left off last issue with Mitch deciding he's going to go learn about himself at the library because, hey, why not? This issue picks up with a completely different set of characters. We are introduced to Kim Rebecki, who is a detective who uses her psychometry in order to track down people, which is basically you touch someone, you get a magic vision of like them, or you touch something that belonged to them and you see how they like interacted with it, and then she uses that to detective. And she's been hired to find Mitch Shelley by some mysterious benefactor, is her exact words, and she's not having a lot of luck, but she's tracking down some leads. Meanwhile, we're also introduced to the Butcher, who is a serial killer who uses necromancy in order to get his answers. And he also wants to find Mitch Shelley, but seemingly in the name of Satan, because I guess his soul is overdue. And he kidnaps a homeless guy and says, well, you're homeless, and he's homeless, so that's pretty much all the link I need for my magic. And he slices the guy open, and it causes a huge, like, explosion thing. And they both manage to track down exactly where Mitch is, because why not? And so then we cut over to Mitch. He's at the library. He's looking stuff up online. He goes through everything he knows about himself, how, like, he was a defense contractor. He was definitely a dick. He knew his name, his dad's name. He knew a couple of his friends' names. If that whole hallucination that he had while in, I think, Arkham was to be believed, which he does. And then he's like, all right, internet's got nothing for me. Like, either I never existed or I was scrubbed off the internet. So maybe some print records will have it. So he starts heading down to print archives. And who does he run into but... was it Kim? I've already forgotten her name. The psychometry detective. Kim Rebecki. Already bumps into her. And as soon as he goes to help her up, she touches his hand and then gets these crazy visions and blacks out from how big they were. And when she comes to, Mitch is like, hey, Kim, I went through your stuff. You're a detective and you've got a picture of me and a gun. So what's going on here? And she explains the situation like, oh, I was a detective, but like, I thought based off of my research that you were a bad dude, but I see that's not the case. But before they really even manage to get into it that much, the Butcher just crashes in through the roof and says like, Mitch, you will come with me. I will use my magic. And Mitch is still running off the fire ability that he had last issue. So he tries to make a shield, but it is literally of no use against necromancy magic. Kim tries to like do whatever she can, but is nothing against the Butcher. And as they both start running away from him, he kills an innocent civilian standing by in order to fuel his magic. And straight up, the Butcher just, stabs Mitch. He just straight through the heart, kills him. And because of how powerful his life essence, I guess, is, he's like, oh, I'm so strong, I can do anything. And he starts casting some big necromancy spells. And then Mitch's ability kicks in, and he comes back to life, which causes the Butcher's spells to start draining off of his own life force instead of Mitch's. Therefore, he just dissolves. He's just gone. He used up his own life force for his own spells. So, yeah, that was literally a problem just solved itself. So Mitch is then talking to Kim, and she explains the situation like, look, I did my research. You were a bad dude, but when I touched you and I saw all this stuff about you, I realized that's not you anymore. You're a good guy, and I would never have investigated you if I knew you were a good guy. And Mitch is like, wait a minute, hold on, back up. You said you knew about me? And she's like, yeah, but like, you're not that guy anymore. And he's like, I don't care. Tell me everything you know. But before they can even begin to talk, Mitch is shot in the head from above, and down from the ceiling descends the Suicide Squad. If you read Suicide Squad issue number 8, which came out this same week, that's how that issue ends as well. So it all ties together. And this trade actually includes Suicide Squad number 9, so I guess that's necessary reading before we continue on. That being said, I like this issue. I think it did, because the whole thing, it doesn't really focus on Mitch as much as it really focuses on the other two, like the two detectives who are tracking him down. And I just like the weird little I wouldn't even say quirks, but just the weird things that they like are using, where there are supernatural entities. Of course there are in this world, and some of them are just using them as just their job. Like it's not a thing of them saving the world or anything like that. It's literally just a, yeah, I can touch people and find out where they are, and therefore I'm going to be a detective. I like that. I think it's a neat little touch. Suicide Squad at the end, whatever. Like it's just another crossover because why not? I'm not sure. It seems like they're gonna try to make Kim stick around for a little bit, just because they're kind of building up a rapport back and forth. But I feel like we've had like four sidekicks for Mitch already, and all of them just were like thrown away as soon as we started issue. What was it? 5, 6? It's just weird to me how many he's gone through with people where it's like, oh, I guess I can help you, and then whoosh to the wind. But no, it's a solid book. I do like it overall, as much as I'm nitpicking about it. It's consistently surprised me with how good it is, and I think I say that pretty much every week. I never considered Resurrection Man to be something that actually had something to it. It always just seemed like a weird D-list hero that they just used to fill out the ranks. But there is an actual story being told here, and I very much like it. So overall, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 7.5. Don't ask me why it's not higher, because it's just what feels right. It's just a gut feeling. And I guess tune in next time to Suicide Squad issue 9 to see how that all wraps up.